Hi, welcome back. Well, the first recipe we're going to do, as I mentioned, is the mock salmon pate. The reason why we call it mock is because of the red bell pepper. The red bell pepper is going to give it the color of salmon, but believe me, there is no salmon in this recipe, okay? What we're going to do is we're going to be using our Cuisinart today. And for those of you that are not familiar with a food processor, they're very easy to use. There obviously is a lid and an S-blade and the bowl. All these pieces must be engaged in order for you to use this food processor, otherwise it will not work. So we're going to attach the bowl, place the blade back in, and the first ingredient we're going to use is we're going to use 2 scallions, 2 stalks of celery, 2 cups of walnuts. And these are raw walnuts, by the way, not fried or baked or toasted or anything. Raw walnuts, sea salt, and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which is optional, but it does give it a nice little kick. So you might want to try it. If you don't want to use the cayenne pepper, you can certainly use chili powder. It'll give it the same, but a little bit softer kick. And then we're going to use a red bell pepper. Remember I said the red bell pepper is going to give it the color of salmon. When you're using the red bell pepper, after you've cut the top, make sure that you remove the membrane in the center, because when you're doing living food and making living food, unlike when you're cooking, that membrane has a bitter flavor. And because everything in the processor is not cooked, you don't want that to ruin your recipe. So just cut the top off and just scoop out the membrane. And then you can add it to the food processor. You don't have to do a lot of cutting. The food processor will do that for you. So you can cut it or break it or do whatever you like. Just add the red bell pepper. And also, don't throw away the top. Just pop out the center, like so, and add to your recipe. Place the top on and blend. You're going to have to stir this a few times to get all the ingredients down in there. But this is a recipe that goes, you can put it together in about 2 to 3 minutes. So this is one of those quick tips that when you're rushing, you don't have any time, oh my gosh, I'm in a hurry. As long as you have these things stocked in your refrigerator or in your pantry, you can make something very quick. Another quick tip, when you're using red bell pepper, if you don't have any fresh, you can certainly use some that is canned or in oil or in water. That's perfectly fine. We don't care if it's not raw, as long as everything else in the recipe is. So you have something that's in a can or a bottle, it's okay. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and continue to blend this up. And you can see as it starts to blend here at the bottom, it's starting to take on the color of salmon. And a few more stirs. Now when you're using this particular recipe, make sure that you don't place the walnuts in the food processor first, because they'll get hung up on that S-blade and they will not blend. So you want to make sure you've got a vegetable or something in between that has a little bit of liquid that will help to chop it up. And we're just about finished. This is a very versatile recipe. This is just about over now, just a few more times of pulse chopping it. And you notice I'm using the lid to do my chopping. You can certainly use the lid, or you can pulse chop with the button. And that's it, we're all done. Mock salmon pate, we'll be right back. Hi, welcome back. Well, we've just about finished this. It takes approximately 2 to 3 minutes. Now, one quick tip about mock salmon pate. If you like it chunky, then I would suggest pulse chopping it. Or if you like it more like the consistency of a pate, then let your S-blade continue to work for you. As you can see, we've blended this up, and it's absolutely gorgeous, all these beautiful colors. And as you can see, it does look like mock salmon. Now, when you taste this, you're going to swear up and down that it has salmon in it, but you know that it doesn't. We're going to plate this up today. This is a very quick recipe. It's loaded with nutrition. You've got your omega-3s and your walnuts. Oh, and by the way, when you take off the S-blade, be very careful. There's a little tiny hole underneath your processing bowl that you stick your finger in, and that will hold the blade in place so that you can then transfer your recipe into a beautiful container like this. Yum. Now, this recipe is very versatile. You can use it about 13 or 14 different ways. And one of my students gave us the newest use of the recipe, and that is, for those of you that are still with animals, hard-boiled eggs, take out the yolk and stuff it with the mock salmon pate. From what I hear, it's absolutely delicious. But this particular recipe, you can stuff tomatoes, you can stuff bell peppers, you can use it with a romaine leaf, you can use it as a salad dressing, a salad spread, just by adding some additional apple cider vinegar. This will serve very well with apples. And you can see we have some apples cut up here for you. It's absolutely delicious. You can also spread it as an open lettuce wrap. And today we have romaine hearts. And all you're going to do is take a little bit and spread it on your leaf, like so. It's absolutely delicious. We'll be right back.